On your feet! Get them going!
Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever the case may be. Give me a second here. Share, copy. Forgot to send this to the Discordius Maximus. There it is. At everyone. I know people hate those little alarm dings, but I don't do it often, just once per show. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. How did it just get hot in here? Oh, because I've been out running an errand. Whatever the case may be, welcome to Cross Examinations Live. I'm your host, Mike Asmiller. I'm not a pastor, priest, rabbi, theologian, yabbity dabbity do, all that kind of fun stuff. I'm just a guy on the internet here to talk to you about Jesus. What's up, everybody? I know I actually posted this a little early. So Lady Celtic Moon is here, King Bob, ex-writer, and James, welcome. I just posted it in the chat, or in the Discord, so more people should be coming in. There's this, I'm in a weird temperature zone where I feel like if I turn on my fan, it's going to get too cold. But at the current moment, I'm a little too warm. Baruch Hashem, Jesus is all that matters. Baruch Hashem Adonai. I forget the rest. Blood always finds this level. Jesus is indeed all that matters. Gosh, I feel like there is a topic like right in the back of my brain that I wanted to talk about, but it doesn't want to come out. Lord, open my brains. Well, maybe that's a bad way to put it. Lord, give me clarity on what I should talk about today, because I have nothing in the queue. I could be talking about, I could go to the Discord. There's been some lively conversations in the Discord about, let's see, young Earth versus old Earth, creationism, the speed of light in a vacuum versus the speed of light. Light. Bringing light. I feel like I want to spend 10 years studying light, because light is a photon, which that is to say, it is a thing, right? A photon is a unit of massless. Can you say massless energy? A photon is a photon. Obviously, I'm not versed in this stuff. I'm bewildered by this stuff. So I'm gonna go to X, because this was a conversation that leaves me confused. Because here's the thing about photons: light. Light moves at the speed of light, and then when light goes through a medium, like say glass or atmosphere or whatever, light slows down. Photons slow down, right? How do they regain their speed when they exit the medium? What the heck is light? Yeah, it says it's massless, but isn't energy? You can't say it's energy, because I know I may sound really ignorant to the well-learned in this right now. It's just fascinating to me, because you can't say it's energy if Einstein's right. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. So if it's massless, it can't be energy, because energy equals mass times the speed of light. And if it's mass, then it is affected by gravity. I mean, I know light is affected by gravity, but the way they explain it is like it just changes its direction around gravity. Light has essence. If light isn't material, how do materialist atheists explain it? Because light has no mass. Light has no material. But light is. I defer to Brian Cox for this. Who's Brian Cox? You mean the actor? Brian Cox. I'm curious. How does light have material reality? I don't know how to ask this question even. Electromagnetic radiation does not have material reality in the sense of possessing mass or occupying space like physical matter. Photons, the fundamental particles of light, are massless and travel at the speed of light, behaving as both waves and particles. They carry energy. How can a massless, immaterial thing carry a material thing? I want to dive into this rabbit hole. It's not even a rabbit hole. It's a scientific rabbit hole, right? Let's keep reading. They carry energy, momentum, and angular momentum, but lack rest, mass, or tangible substance like atoms or molecules. How can they carry momentum? This just makes me question more stuff. How can they carry momentum if they can be slowed through a medium, but as soon as they exit the medium, they go back to their full speed? The momentum, by the laws of physics, I understand. Maybe I don't understand them enough, but by the laws of physics, I understand if something is slowed, it is slowed. I'm with blood always finds a level. Light is literally a window into the supernatural power of Yahweh. Amen. Because how else? It seems inexplicable to me. Light is made of properties of both particles and wave, exhibiting wave-like particle. I know. I know. Job 38:25. You can make me look up Job 38:25. All right. Job 38:25. Who hath divided a water course for the overflowing of waters, or a way for the lightning of thunder? Tina's grokking stuff. The more you know, you don't know. Right? That's awesome. I guess it's like radio waves. All right, let me keep reading. However, light interacts with matter in ways that can produce observable effects, such as exerting radiation, pressure, or being absorbed to excite electrons. In extreme conditions, like in high-energy physics, photon-photon interactions can theoretically produce particles with mass via pair production. But this is not light itself having material reality. Is Grok high, or did it just say that light can create mass? Photon-photon reactions can it's just theoretically produce particles with mass via pair production. What? Light can only be seen by reflection or refraction, otherwise it is invisible, right? So no, light does not have material reality in the conventional sense, but it has physical properties that allow it to influence the material world. God said, "Let there be light." Where do the material atheists believe light came from? As it is not material. I'm curious about this now. I'm just going to ask. Since there's no atheists in here, where do atheists claim light came from? Light before the sun. You have to have light before the sun. If you don't have light before the sun, what's the sun going to do? Atheists, like others, typically align with scientific consensus on the origin of light, which doesn't rely on supernatural explanations. According to modern physics, light originates from various natural processes. Natural process, like the Big Bang. That's derp. Corpse Grinder, you tell me, where did light come from? Produced cosmic microwave background radiation, a faint remnant of light from the early universe as described by the Big Bang model. Quantum processes. Light is emitted when charged particles, like electrons, change energy states. For example, in stars, nuclear fusion excites particles producing photons, light, as they release energy. Thermal radiation. Hot objects like stars or incandescent bulbs emit light due to their temperature, as explained by Beth. That's not explaining where light comes from. Okay. Maybe maybe the question isn't being understood. This is why I say this you know what, all of this is the same argument that atheists use. How could there be light before the sun? Right? It's the same. I'm turning this back on the atheist. How can there be light before all that stuff? Right? Light, the axiomatic, objective, fundamental, I don't know how to break this down. The moving photon, the idea that a photon can create visual anything. Where does the photon come from? Where does like I said, without light, without the very concept of light existing, the sun burning in the sky would do nothing, because there would be no light. Light has to exist for the photons and all that stuff to actually do anything. Do you understand my question? It's the same question. How could there be light before the sun? Right? As if sun created light. No. Light had to exist for what the sun does to have any meaning. It's like if there was no such thing as gasoline, right? Or if there was no such thing as any kind of let's just use gas. No gas, no oil, nothing explosive. There's no such thing as explosive. If there was no such thing as combustion, and you built an internal combustion engine, it wouldn't work, right? Do you understand how I'm stepping back from the physical here? I'm stepping back before the physical to what light is not physical. Light is not part of the physical universe. That's the interesting thing about this. All you atheist, physics materialists, light is not material. And so the same argument, how could there be light before the sun? There had to be light. There had to be the creation of light. There had to be gas before the internal combustion engine. There had to be light. Particle and wave, isn't it? I mean, that's what they say. It's a particle without mass. So if it has no mass, is it material? Doesn't material require mass? Or am I being pedantic? I might be being pedantic, and that's fair. I'll be critical of myself. I am being pedantic. But to me, if it doesn't have mass, it's not material. That's what the word material means. Right? No, the eye cannot see light. The eye can only see the effects of light on reflected and refracted stuff. You're not actually seeing light. Is that the right way? It's like there's not a laser beam shooting into your eye, right? It's the reflection. Gosh, do I have that backwards? I might have that backwards. Never mind. Erase all that. What you're getting at is the information for the system had already existed before the system existed. Yeah, like, I don't know what else I could. I think the internal combustion engine argument is a good one. It's very simple conversion of that idea, right? Sort of like if you, it's like a computer with no software. No, I think the combustion engine is a better one. And the eye can see this substance. Like the blueprints of any designed functional system, the ideas of the functioning system must exist before the system is initiated. Yes, you get it. Blood always finds this level, gets it. Baffle. I'm going to call you Baffle. Blood always finds this level. Baffle gets it. Thought is light. Light, right? Well, thought is immaterial. There's so much immaterial. I don't understand it. Materialist atheists. I really don't. Oh no, it's all chemical. It's all chemical reactions in your brain. That's what your thoughts are. That's what your dreams are. That's what your love is. That's what your hopes are. All the immaterial things that make your life worth living. Just a chemical reaction in your brain. Baffle. Baffil. Bafil, DJ. You're missing the I. Therefore, information is supernatural. I'm baffled. Baffled. All right, I gotta turn this fan on. Now it's cooking in here. I have a box fan under my desk so that I don't have to refrigerate the entire house to keep my office cool. It's an interesting argument, or not argument. It's an interesting thing to think about, though, isn't it? And it has always cracked me up when atheists use the how is there light without the sun thing, as if the sun itself, a ball of gas in the sky, is going to create the fundamental reality of the electromagnetic spectrum. Is it the electromagnetic spectrum or is it the radiation spectrum? I'm trying to remember. Or is it the light spectrum? Other phenomena like synchrotron radiation, bioluminescence, or see, it's all this stuff is like all their arguments for where light originates are just talking about sources of light rather than the origin of this supremely curious thing that, like I said, it doesn't obey the laws of freaking science. Light doesn't obey the laws of physics. Because this is, well, okay, Grok could be wrong. But Grok claiming that light obeys momentum, it does not. It does not. As soon as it leaves a medium that slows it down, it speeds right back up. How does light speed itself back up? I could be making myself look stupid, but this is fascinating to me. And I'm obviously I am not well learned. I told you I'm not educated about this stuff. It just, I don't know. To me, it's like on the face of it stuff, right? I look at things on the face of it. And sometimes people have a way of seeing something right in front of their face, seeing like, well, that just doesn't make sense. And then they go read a bunch of stuff, people just theorizing on stuff to the point where, oh yeah, that should explain. Nah, I believe in facts, not theories. They don't think the sun was the first light source, do they? Well, God is the light source. I mean, if you want to just drop it in theology, God is the light source. God is light, right? The fact that we can see anything. That's why without God, what do you have? Eternal darkness. Because God has pulled his light presence away. And you know what? You could be the smartest scientist in the world for 1 billion years. You're never going to be able to create light if God pulls away the essence that is light. Light doesn't slow down. It can be warped by gravity, making it look like it slows down. No, it slows down through mediums. Like when light passes through glass, it slows, and then it speeds up after it leaves the glass. I mean, imperceptibly to us. At least that's what I read. The fact that it exists proves origin. The fact that there is an origin information absolutely proves supernatural creation. There's no way around it. It's just humility thought experiment. A humility thought experiment. I believe Brian Cox said something like, the energy of light is constant, but the wavelengths just adjust with medium. Oh. What? But even right there, you said the energy of light. Energy. So is Brian Cox wrong or is Einstein wrong? Because energy is mass times the speed of light squared. Therefore, it's mass. Therefore, it's not light, because light is a massless particle. A photon is a massless particle. So how can it be energy? It can't be energy. It's also confusing. I don't know who's right and who's wrong, and I don't think that's probably the crazy thing is probably nobody actually knows, and it's just a whole bunch of monkeys trying to figure out how the space shuttle works. But it's enough good, reasonable sounding theorizing that people who are determined to reject God will glom onto it like it is fact. Light is either reflected or refracted, right? Corpse Grinder, it's important to note that the individual photons of light don't actually slow down or speed up within the medium. The apparent slowing down is due to the absorption and re-emission process. I still don't know how does a photon maintain speed? Light has no mass, but okay, yeah. Which means it's not matter, which means light has no mass. I know, I said that already. Which means your statement up here that light is energy has to be false, because energy is light is mass times the speed of light squared. You just said both statements, Jeff, so which is it? Light can't be energy. Tell that to the plants and solar power companies. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. If light has no mass, how can it be energy? I don't know who's right and who's wrong, but you're all contradicting each other, or you're all contradicting yourselves. Or Einstein's wrong. That's fine. Just say Einstein's wrong. If you're right, Einstein's wrong. Because energy is mass. Right? And that's what the equals part in E equals mc squared is. That's the equals part. Energy is mass. It is just times the speed of light squared. Who's Einstein? Who's Einstein? Are you saying that right? Like my Einstein or your Einstein? Because the photon is created when electrons move from one state or the other. A photon is an atom. Excites electrons, which move state, producing a photon, thereby causing a delay. Oh, it hits an atom. I thought you said is an atom. A photon is an atom, excites electrons, move state, producing a photon, thereby causing a delay. Okay. Still doesn't explain how one of you is claiming. I think this is a lack of your knowledge in the science and not debunking well-established theory. But the well-established theories, energy equals mass times the speed of light squared, right? Mass times the speed of light squared. Am I wrong here? The M in E equals mc squared is mass. The E in E equals mc squared is energy. So if you're saying that light is energy, you are saying, according to Einstein, that light is mass. Just going really, really fast. How is that a lack of knowledge? I'm not the one saying it. Einstein said it. You're the one disagreeing with Einstein. Just say he's wrong. He could be wrong. I don't know. Oh, Einstein isn't real. He's only a theoretical physicist. This is like I don't know what it's like. It's like people hold Einstein up like he's the friggin' great genius that figured it all out. They accept his general theory of relativity. But then they're going to sit there right in front of their icon of knowledge and just blatantly disagree with the general theory of relativity. And I'm the one that doesn't understand it? Einstein was wrong. Then spake Jesus again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. Amen, my brother. Hello, Melissa. Welcome to the party. Yeah, look, I may be looking like a complete fool right now. That's fine. I only know what I know. And I know that E equals M. Well, I know that's the prevailing theory that all you guys agree with, but now everything you're saying is completely disagreeing with the one theory we all understand. E equals M times the speed of light squared. Energy is mass. So when you have Grok and everyone in the world saying that light is energy and light has no mass. You can't be both. Mass is M is matter. Matter is mass. The principle of photons hitting atoms, creating more photons, is how photomultiplier works. I work with one. Okay, so you're chucking, I don't know, Jeff. I don't know how that's... It's not about... I'm not talking about the creation. I'm talking about the existence of light itself. The very nature of light. Where does that come from? Not, can I turn on a light bulb and emit light? That's not my question. E equals MC Hammer as far as I'm concerned. Who knows? I don't know. I'm you guys all claiming you know. That's fantastic. I'm glad you claim you know. But do you also not recognize you are contradicting E equals MC squared? How does something with no mass get motion? That's another fantastic question. That's another... I don't know. Can't touch this reasoning. As I understand it, it's more like mass is converted into energy. Though I don't think this really answers your question. No, it doesn't. That's closer, though. I mean, we'll convert gasoline into energy through exploding it, through releasing the energy in the mass. We generate energy. Well, we release energy. Look at all the energy in a single atom. You just break that apart and create a chain reaction that, you know, for all they knew, they could have destroyed the entire universe. You know, they didn't know for sure. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna just give a great big fat I don't know. What else were we talking about in the Discord? The age of the Earth. That's kind of how this whole thing started. Because I'm a young Earth creationist, and I know old Earth creationists, and I know evolutionists, and I know everybody with their different theories of how old the universe is. And my argument was, even if you think the Earth is only 6,000 years old, we've only been measuring this crap, top end on most of this stuff, 200 years. Most of this stuff, 100 years or less. Right? So, top end 200 years out of 6,000 years. It's a sliver of time to claim you understand the entire history of the universe, be it 6,000 years or be it 18 bazillion years. If the older the universe is, the less our evidence of how old the Earth, the universe is gets, because our percentage of knowledge based compared to the totality of the universe gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, to the point where it's an insignificant, wafer thin slice of time in the universe. You understand what I'm saying here? It's like we have so little idea of anything beyond the last 200 years. Well, I mean, except for history itself. So it's amazing how much progress you get when you stop burning people for having different ideas. I mean, you can do both. Look, we still can't build the pyramids, man. I'm sure they were burning people for having different ideas back then. People with good ideas don't necessarily stop doing their bad ideas. Isaac Newton, don't forget. Yes. Isaac Newton didn't burn anybody. He wrote lots of Bible study tracts because he was we can, because I mean literally people are being burned for different ideas on this planet today. So the God proposition has zero explanatory power. God did it, tells us nothing. Okay, where does light come from, Lou? And I don't mean where does light turn on or become excited. The actual axiomatic nature of light. Where does that come from? Wasn't Isaac Newton a priest at one point? Yeah, he was a pastor. Isaac Newton was a pastor. And I believe he was a pastor until he died, so. Light has no mass, but motion. Darkness can obscure light, but is a want or privation of light, so nothing. This is science. Darkness cannot obscure light. Darkness is the absence, the privation of light. Darkness is nothing. Light comes from the photon fairies. The logbook detailing the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza, known as the Diary of Mer, was discovered in 2013. Oh, that sounds interesting. This is the Diary of Mer. That sounds very interesting. And Papyrus Jarf is a collection of papyrus logbooks written over 4,500 years by Merer, a middle-ranking Egyptian official within the third inspector. These with the title of. Sorry, it's so small on this screen. Let me blow it up a little bit. Title of inspector. These are the oldest known papyri texts dating to the 26th or 27th year of Pharaoh Khufu's reign during the 4th dynasty of Egypt, discovered in 2013 by French archaeological team led by Pierre Tallet and Gérard Maraud at Wadi al-Jarf, a Red Sea port. The papyri were found buried in front of man-made caves used to store boats. Written in hieratic hieroglyphics. The diary primarily records the daily activities of Merer and his crew of about 200 men, focusing on the transportation of white limestone blocks from Tura quarries to Giza by boat, likely for cladding the Great Pyramid of Khufu, referred to as Akhet Khufu. Best preserved sections detail several months of work, with entries noting that every 10 days, 2 or 3 round trips were made, transporting approximately 30 blocks of 2 to 3 tons, totaling about 200 blocks per month. The logs also mention sophisticated canal system, including dikes and artificial harbor used to facilitate transport during the Nile's flood season from July to November. The diary references key figures like Ankaf, Khufu's half-brother, identified as an overseer of the project, and provides insights into the logistics, administration, and workers' provisions of the time. While it doesn't explicitly state the stone's final use, Egyptologists like Tallet infer they were for the Great Pyramid's outer casting, given the timing near the end of Khufu's reign. However, some sources note the diary doesn't conclusively prove the stones were used for the pyramid itself, as their exact purpose is not specified. The papyri, hailed by archaeologist Zahi Hawass as the greatest discovery in Egypt in the 21st century, are exhibited in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. Nuh-uh. Corpse Grinder, where did you hear that papyri detailed the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza? Because clearly that is a false statement. So whoever you got that from, stop trusting them as a source. I do not know where light comes from, and saying a god did it tells me nothing regarding the question. Are you a materialist atheist, Lou? I'm just curious. You're happy to say you don't know about everything, but you're not happy to say. But you're happy to conclude every argument with God didn't, God doesn't, God isn't. The secular evolution religion has actually reversed progress and set us back in countless ways. Not one single technological advancement has anything to do with the forced taught theory evolution. I would agree with that. In the beginning, the want or privation of light was hovering over the face of the deep. Darkness was hovering over the face of the deep. Is that what the word means? Let me see. Blue Letter Bible. Dismiss. Darkness imprisoning me. The first Genesis 1-2. Well, I mean, water prevention of light, is that darkness, secret place? Yeah. Literally darkness. Yeah. There was no light. God separated the want or provision of light from the light. A consensus of atheists have shown that light comes from modulated phasor frequencies in tachyon fields emitted by properly aligned Jeffrey tubes. Look. There, light comes from my light bulb. That's not the question. The pyramids were built by giants that also worked for my unicorns. They were very busy back then. Hey, we don't mock unicorns here, Bob. Corpse Grinder. It was details on one aspect, and you are writing it off because it doesn't have everything you want. No. Whoa, dude. You literally claimed that it detailed the construction, where I'm trying to find it. It detailed the construction of the pyramids. And then I went to read what it was about, and it detailed the moving of stones, and they could not conclude that those stones were for the pyramid. So now you said a statement that was false, and from whoever you got it was also false. And now you're doubling down and trying to claim me that I don't know how evidence works. Bro, come on. That is the most disingenuous thing I think I've ever seen you say on this stream. Generally, you're generally not a disingenuous guy like Brooklyn Lou here is. If I want to get to the best explanation for where light ultimately came from, I would go to science and not a priest or pastor. Right, because science is your god. We have detailed understanding of how the Memphis pyramid was made. Another reason it's just a superior pyramid. No, we don't. I'm not sure Lou can ask Neil deGrasse Tyson where light comes from, and that would be a good. I'm sure Lou can, and that would be good enough for me. Yeah, right. Objective ethics says, please stop calling evolution and atheism a religion. This is very disingenuous. Okay, it's a godless religion. How's that? Although I didn't say it, but I have said it in the past. Neil deGrasse Tyson inferior, Brian Cox superior. I still don't know who Brian Cox is. That was nothing but Star Trek techno babble references. I kind of figured it was something like that. Corpse Grinder, it has where the stone is from. All right. How they use the flood system for transport. Yes. They worked in teams. They weren't slaves. But that's not enough because it doesn't have modern blueprints. If I explain to you how I transported bricks from one location to another, is that explaining how a building is made? I kind of assumed the rocks came from somewhere, Corpse Grinder. I didn't assume they magically teleported into place from the quarries miles away. Nobody is making that argument. You have built the straw man of the year. Congratulations. Come on, dude. I know you are so much. Oh, gosh. This is literally Brooklyn Lou level freaking dodging. Why would I claim to know everything? Only a dishonest person would claim to know things they do not know. Oh, yeah, Christians do this often. Faith, saying you know things you do not know. That's well, we believe things that you do not believe. That's different. We do. We even have pictures of the Memphis Pyramid being made by giants. It was giants, right? Religion does not require a god. Yeah, I mean, do you believe that Buddhism is a religion? Huh? Does anyone on earth call Buddhism not a religion? Buddhism is a religion. Buddhism has no god. So atheism is a religion. It dates to the kings it was made for. That doesn't explain how it was built. Corpse Grinder, pay attention. I'm not. I'm sorry, you're killing me, dude. The problem is transporting the blocks to the site. It's getting them up the ramp. Yeah, and these are like what, 2 to 3 ton bricks. I'm talking about the 70-ton stones that were cut to laser precision and placed with such laser tight accuracy that you literally can't slide a piece of paper in between them. That's the kind of precision in building that we can't understand. We can move 2 to 3 ton stones. We do it every day. I'm not complaining about that. It's great that we know when those stones, the capstones, or not the capstones, the outer casing stones, if that's what they were for, which the papers doesn't say, but let's just assume that's what they're for. Great, we know when and we know what. The question is how, not how did they move them up a river. I'm not trying to sound rude. I am in the hospital recovering from surgery, so the pain meds are probably affecting my ability to communicate. Oh, what's I hope you hope it's nothing serious. Surgery is always serious. I hate surgery. I hate that mankind has to go under a knife and get cut into pieces and stuff. So I would pray for your well-being, but you would reject it. So but good thoughts. I hope you get better. Hopes for your quick recovery. What is the mystery? What order they placed the blocks down in? I just explained it, didn't I? How do you move a 70-ton perfectly not laser cut, but as if laser cut, perfect, quarried 70 tons is not 2 to 3 tons. 70 tons is a significant piece of rock to perfectly maneuver into place. Not the 2 to 3 ton pieces. Come on, dude. Giants didn't build the pyramids. That's crazy. People believe in gods. They do not know them. I know my God. I have a personal relationship with mine, Brooklyn Lou. Brooklyn Pooh the Septic. Oh, that's mean. Evolution is a religion and is not subject to atheism. That poor guy. He's glitching bad. So you want evidence on how they cut and moved them into place? Just say that instead of how it was done. I thought I was obstinate. Sir, my crown. Lou, accepting something secondhand is believing something, and everyone does it every day. True. True. Brooklyn Lou believes in evolution. He's never seen it. But I believe somebody else who said it was true. 70 tons isn't even the larger ones. Let's see. How heavy are the largest stones in the Giza pyramid? $50 to $80 tons. The casing stones average 2.5 to 15 tons, typically weighing around 2 to 3 tons each. These weights are derived by measurements by Egyptologists, blah, 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 blah. All right. The biggest one, it says 80. There are no definitively documented stones that exceed 100 tons. Oh, other pyramids in the Giza complex have stones that exceed 100 tons, but not in the Giza pyramid itself. What are the largest stones used in any ancient building? Oh, the triathlon stones, Temple of Jupiter, forming the temple's podium, weighs 750 to 800 tons. Some estimates suggest up to 1,000 tons. Do we have any modern technology that can quarry and move an 800-ton stone? Diamond wire saws, impregnated cables, cut large blocks with precision, minimizing waste. Hydraulic splitters, drilling and blasting, quarrying. An 800-ton stone is feasible with these tools, as modern quarries regularly extract blocks of compare or greater size, though they are often cut into smaller pieces for transport. Moving an 800-ton stone is more challenging within the capabilities of modern engineering. Oh wow, a heavy-duty crane. The largest modern crane, the Liebherr 13,000 or Konecranes Goliath, can lift up to 3,000 tons. These cranes are used in industrial settings and could hoist an 800-ton stone for short distances or placement. So although they require stable ground and significant setup, so probably not the sand of the desert. Self-propelled modular transports used to massive leather, weighing thousands of tons, for example. What is a self-propelled modular transport? I gotta look that up. I want to see what that looks like. Sorry, I'm just reading. Oh, interesting. Some Christians believe in the theory of evolution. Yeah, true. So now it's just a real. It's not just, dude. Come on. Dude, it's not my fault you're behind the chat. Yeah, I'm sorry. I gotta go make lunch. I actually watched a pretty cool video that showed how they think they were built. A lot of levees for directing the water so they could float stones. It was pretty interesting. How tall? See, that doesn't make sense at all. How can you... How tall is the Giza Pyramid? Like 300 feet? $455 feet. That's a 45-story building. How do you get levees? Because you're just at the Nile River, right? You're at sea level. How do you get levees to get the water 45 stories up so that you can lift the... I'll have to watch your video, King Bob. Send me that video. I'd really like to see that. You're going to move, even if it's just like one of the smaller ones, like call it a 2 to 3 ton stone. How are you going to get that 45 stories into the air? Baffle says, most people that believe in evolution are actually theists. Atheists are not only a smallest minority, they are the most insignificant. The Bible tells us not to worry about them. Come on, man. You did not see a God make the universe. Apply the same criticism to yourself that you do to others. We are at a starting point. Nothing comes from nothing. Nothing ever did. You have to start there. And then you have to come up with a whole bunch of hogwash how nothing created everything. Then you say, it's not really nothing. It's some other kind of nothing that isn't really nothing, but it's smart enough to create the entire universe and all the design within. Okay. Okay. Lou and Jeff are arguing. I'm going to skip that. Bruno says, largest stone moved recently was to a California museum. It was a 350-ton stone. Took a museum a 100-wheel-plus platform. Yeah, I wonder how much weight one wheel can... No, ancient Egypt was not a desert when the pyramids were built. Oh, actually, that's a good point. That is a good point. Look into moving of the levitated mass stone outside of Los Angeles County Museum. It's a fraction of the pyramid stones, and we had trouble moving it with modern equipment. Oh, I only have 30 seconds left. Alien intervention? Telekinesis? Objective ethics. Would you be willing to have a live discussion with me on your channel sometime in the near future? I'm an agnostic, but always treat my interlocutors with respect. Yeah, one of these times. Yeah, jump in early and maybe we could do an hour. I don't mind. I like doing those. Those when they're just discussions and they're arguments, you know. Lou doesn't even believe the sun will come up tomorrow. So, all right, we're at an hour. Interesting time. A totally different show from yesterday, right? Me talking about camp and my nephew and all that kind of stuff. But happy to be here for everybody. We all live by some sort of faith. I hate to break it to guys like Lou and any atheists out there. You cannot live but by faith. It is just important where you put that faith. You put your faith in men. I think we have the most evidence on the daily level that men are not really worth putting their faith in. I've had a very personal... It's funny when the guy you think you can count on flakes on you, and God sends an angel. I'll just say it like that. And you know, you can never put your faith 100% in any man, even if you think you can. You're gonna get let down by every human being you ever trusted. It might not be a massive thing. Sometimes it is, though. Everybody have a great and glorious day. We'll see you on the next exciting episode of Cross Examination. What is it, tomorrow or the day after I have a meeting? I think it's Thursday. Thursday, the show is going to be late or canceled. Probably late. Like an hour late, though. All right. God bless you guys. We'll see you later.